This champion is actually really good, and a lot of people are sleeping on him, and I don't want you to be one of them because he could steal some wins from you in arena and live arena. So let's talk about why. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. I've talked about this champion before in the past and I really wanted to take some time to talk about him again with a larger audience now as the audience is starting to grow. I really wanted to give a shout out to Bolint Freewalker. The inspiration from this video actually came from Ash, who I've recently done a collab with. It should be out by the time this video comes out, so go check out that collab that I did with him. That was a lot of fun. But he also just did a video where he ranked all of the faction Unity champions, and he also agreed with me that Bolint Freewalker is quite a bit slept on. If we look at the reviews on Bolint, you can see that they're kind of, you know, in the middle, right? They're kind of mixed here. Admittedly, not the best champion for some PvE content. However, I will say if you were in need of a decreased defense champion and you were using Wukong as your wave clear, like if you're in the early game of a free-to-play and you used a Wukong and you happened to get Bolint Freewalker, he is a great decreased defense champion and a great stun champion, which is just good regardless of how many faction champions you have. Without, you know, it doesn't matter how many Skinwalker champions you have. This is a good stun. It's a 2-time stun with a 100% chance to land. It does get quite a bit better. We'll go over the whole kit here. I won't dive too deeply into the kit. Real quick, if you're looking to be part of my account takeover series, join the Discord below. But a little heads up, I'll be prioritizing accounts that were started with my exclusive promo link. This will also guarantee you a free legendary Elenaril and 3 amazing free epics as you level up. Here's what you need to do. Log out of Player and Play on PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. You'll get Elenaril for free along with Uugo, Tagoar, Rector Drath, and a better chance at a takeover. So click my link right now. But I just wanted to give him a big shout out here. I'm going to do a bit of a showcase on him. I don't usually do videos like this that much, but Bolint has a special place in my heart. He was one of the first faction Unity champions that I ever got. I was a little disappointed when I got him at first, and then he has proven time and time again to be extremely reliable for me in many different areas of the game, especially Siege, which is one area that I think he will be slept on a lot, and he could trip you up if you don't know about him. So let's talk about his kit so that you guys can be better prepared for him, and I'll show you the build that I have on him as well. So for Bolint Freewalker, we'll start with the A1 here. It's a 2-times hitter. Second hit heals all allies by 5% of this champion's max HP. I don't care that much about the A1. That being said, this is good, actually, right? Yes, it's a single target hitter, but to heal all allies of this champion's max HP, he is an HP based champion, and there's a 10% chance of granting extra turn. That alone, that's a reasonable support ability, right? You could actually use that in different areas of the game and get good results from that. He doesn't hit particular, like, you know, he's not the hardest hitter, but he's not the weakest either. Like, he can do some damage if you want to build him in that way. Obviously, I don't do that. We'll go over the build later, but let's move on to the A2. So here we have an A2, books up to 100% chance of placing the big version of decreased defense. This is a single target. After the initial target attacks all other enemies and has an 80% chance of placing the big version of decreased defense for 2 turns. That's a good decreased defense ability, to be completely honest with you, and I like it quite a bit. Like I said earlier in the video, he could make for a really good decreased defense champion if you're lacking one, and you don't have to pair him up with other skinwalkers, but I do think that this will be a good decreased defense ability for you if you need one. But let's move on to where the kit gets really insane. As with most faction Unity champions, the A3 and the passive are going to be where we're really going to see the value. So it's a 2-times hitter, each hit having a 100% chance of placing a stun, but as we start adding more skinwalkers into it, before attacking with 1 skinwalker, has a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. If you're going up against a team that has stone skin, you can't stun them. Well, you have a chance to remove that. You have a 50% chance to remove stone skin, but you have a 100% chance to remove any unprotected buffs provided that your accuracy is high enough. This is really good for landing the stun, especially in a meta full of intercept and people that are, you know, rocking block debuffs early on. in their kit. So this is really good to remove those and still land that stun. But then you add 2 faction allies and it fills this champion's turn meter by 15% for each stun debuff placed by this skill. You'll see how that actually is quite valuable, but with 15%, you're looking at a 60% turn meter fill on this guy if he does manage to land the stun. Here's the kicker though. It's a 2 times hitter. You could technically land the stun twice, which is quite interesting. So you can get full turn meter off this guy sometimes, which is really fun as well. And maybe we'll see some of that when I put a showcase on for him. With 3 faction allies, this is where it gets crazy. The skill will ignore 50% of each target's resistance. That is so huge. That is what makes mythicals. I mean, mythicals are good for a lot of different reasons, but that is one of the many reasons that mythicals are so strong, is because they have built in ignoring resistance in their kit. The fact that he can ignore resistance is massive on this guy. Huge fan of that ability. And then we have the passive. This just gets crazy. When an ally uses a multi-hit skill, each subsequent hit after the first deals 15% more damage. A lot of champions in this faction with multi-hits that can take advantage of that. We add 1 faction ally to it. Whenever an ally hits an enemy, has a 10% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Every single time an ally as long as you have 1 skinwalker on the team, every time an ally on your team, they have a 10% chance to stun. Basically a built-in stun set on all of your champions. Hell yeah. 2 faction allies, whenever an ally inflicts a critical hit, fills their turn meter by 5%. That can come in pretty handy. And then allies will ignore 30% of defense against enemies under a stun debuff, meaning that if you've got them built in lethal or savage, you've got them in helm smasher, you ignore another 30% because of this passive ability. If they're under a stun, you are starting to get close towards true damage on champions that would otherwise not be able to achieve it, right? Hell yeah. I love this guy. This is one of my favorite guys. And then you have a speed aura in arena, and then accuracy in all battles by 60, which is great when you're considering that this is a champion that needs accuracy. So I'll show you my build on him. Again, you may not have this champion. Really, what I want you guys to understand is what this champion can do, because I use him actually in live arena and he never gets banned, and it's really funny to me. Sometimes he does. Some people know about him, but a lot of people don't, and they let him through, and he's crazy. Now, one of the unique things about him is because he can ignore resistance, and I'm basically using him always skinwalkers in the team, I get this awesome opportunity to build him in a lot of speed. So he is one of the fastest champions on my account. Granted, not the fastest. Like, I'm not going to be beating Drath with this, right? At 368 speed, that is not going to be competitive enough at the really high rankings. But, you know, for the most part, in regular arena and the live arena where I use him, which, by the way, I don't recommend that. This is a poor decision. I just do it because it's fun. But where I use him, I am able to get a lot of value out of him. So we do have him in full speed with pinpoint. The banner, it is accuracy. I have yet to really find a better accuracy banner for the faction, although I did recently get this one. Why don't we go ahead and level this up really quickly and see if we can get some speed rolls on it. That'd be really cool. 1 speed roll I don't think is going to be enough to supplant the double speed roll that I got on this accuracy banner here. You know, but there's always areas where I can improve, and I will be looking at my speed gear and stuff in the coming days to see if I can improve and get a better build out of him. But speed with pinpoint and then an accuracy banner, and we do have actually I'm just going for speed, so I actually have an attack percent chest on him, not for damage reasons, but because it is the fastest chest piece that I have, and I'm able to get, you know, 368, which is high for my level of account, my area that I'm mostly focused in. So do I have a relic on him? I don't think I'm rocking a relic on him right now. I probably should though. Yeah, I should definitely put a relic on him. So let's go ahead and take a look at equipped here. You know, I hate to say, I think this wand of submission is what I really want on him, because I can reflect sheep, which is a big weakness of his. We are going to be getting a new wand of submission at the end of community weeks, so I can probably replace the one that's currently here. Yeah, we can put this one on. I mean, the best one is going to be probably the one that's on, yeah, but that's all bomb focused stuff. So we could put this one on him for now. We get more speed as well, and then we'll eventually give him another one when we get the one from community weeks, but we'll use this one for now for the sake of the video. That brings his speed up to 371 speed, so quite good there. I don't use any other speed boosting or anything on them. If we want to talk about potentially good allies for him, the ones that I'm using are Nishak, who I think pairs very well with him. Loriaka is another one that I think would play very, very well with him if you have her. I don't have her built, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be able to get her speed up to the level that I would want it to be anyways. But if you can use her because she's a great turn meter booster if you can get her really, really high speed, because she can give a turn meter boost to your allies and block debuffs and increase accuracy, which can be very handy as well. And if she gets a turn meter fill each time an ally buff is removed, transferred, stolen, or expires. So there is an opportunity to build her very, very fast. Unfortunately, all my best speed here goes into Bolint. So there is an argument, like I could run Loriaka at Bolint level speed and keep Bolint maybe higher accuracy, but because he ignores resistance, I haven't really needed to do that. So really running him is just fine. I think another good pairing for him is Wukong. If you've got them, I used Wukong early. Obviously Marius, which is my main focus on this account right now, is to get Marius as quickly as possible. He would be the absolute best pairing with Bolint, and I can't wait to activate the two of them together. I think Razelvarg is pretty good as well because you get a speed in all battles aura. He can be good in siege. He can do good damage. Has a multi-hitter on the A1, so paired with that passive, you're going to see a lot of value there. And of course, Mezimel, who will be showcased in this video. So those are some allies that I really like. Another one that I think is very sneaky good, guys. I say sneaky good. I know he's an old school champion that people love. Basher. Basher is who I use the most here because we get to increase the cooldown of all skills on each enemy by 2 turns. That buys me a lot of time to get the value out of Bolint sometimes. And you can see I've got Bolint in the speed lead. I've got Basher, Nishak, and then Mezimel. So they kind of work together, right? Most of my damage is coming from Nishak. If they're in Stone Skin, likely we will be with a UDK. And Mezimel can kind of come in as a backup if they have super high resistance and I just can't get what I need out of the Nishak. So Bolint is the fastest here on my team. And, you know, there's the stun. We did get a weak hit there. That's a little unlucky. But we come in, and the bombs are going to do all the work here, so I'm not really going to need Mezimel to do much. But she does block revive on the Wukong, which is super helpful for me. Another reason why Mezimel is a great pairing here, but you could just use your own Wukong here. And the great thing about Wukong in this team, by the way, that I haven't mentioned yet, I don't have any Stone Skin other than on Mezimel, of course. So you do get that benefit if you are using Wukong, that supposing that they do get an opportunity and they do take out some of your team, there's no reviver in this team. So having a self-revive Wukong can come in and steal a win if things didn't go according to plan. Here's an Arbiter team. I don't know that I'm faster than this Arbiter, but I'd like to see and find out. All right. And I am. And again, this is a great opportunity. A little unlucky there that the Fabian, well, Fabian being what Fabian is a bit of a counter to this. I didn't really pay attention to that. But Mezimel being Mezimel can do Mezimel things. So she's a really good nuker if you're not familiar with her. Again, this is not a showcase of Mezimel, more of Bolint here. But you did see that we were able to stun everybody. Fabian is a bit of a counter to that, of course. You know, every team has its flaws that you'll find, but I did like what we were able to pull off there. I'm trying to look for something that might be heavy in Stone Skin as well. Let's try this team. I think the Nice is just gonna beat me outright. I might go into manual to see if I can take care of him, but we'll see what happens here. Oh no, bombs. Yeah, bombs beat Nice. So boop. And there we go, right? So that it really gives Nishak an opportunity to thrive because we're able to stun them, lock them out, and then give Nishak the time to place those bombs and then get those procs on the bomb. So he pairs so well, as you can see there. Here's another team. I just want to see if we win the speed battle again. That'd be 2 Arbiters that we would beat here with the speed that I have on Bolint. We lost the speed battle, but we're still fast enough to cut in and able to do all of what we're looking to do. Blocking revives there. Notice that the A1 came here because Basher locked out the... oh, gosh. Totally blanking on his name right now. Sorry, guys. It's been a long couple of days for me. Helicath being locked out there, only A1, right? We're not worried about that. We're worried about a Helicath doing damage or placing block damage, right? That kind of showcases, this is Gold 5 Arena. You know, it's not Platinum or anything crazy, but it does showcase how good he can be, and the teams are relatively fast in their performance as well. Here we have a slightly scarier team. We've got a Resistance Aura. That might be a bit of a problem with a Terras, and of course, the dreaded Armans. Let's see how we pair up against this team. So we go first. We've got everybody stunned. We've locked everybody out. We've got our bombs placed where they need to be placed. Boom, boom. I don't know if we take out the... All right, and do we get the extra stun? It doesn't matter. So that's a pretty scary team, to be honest, right? Terras is still pretty terrifying, and we were able to pull through there. So we'll do one more, but Marius, I don't know how well we're going to do against Marius here. So let's see what happens. We are too slow, and we just get cooked. So they have a much faster Arbiter than I have of Bolint. I would love to get a higher Blessing to be able to get more speed on him. So unfortunately, we're just not fast enough to cut in and beat that particular team. So there is a weakness, right? It is a go first team. If I don't go first, I lose, but I will also showcase him here for you in live arena. All right, so my usual strategy is to pick Armand's first, hoping that he gets banned. I'm going to ban their Shuzen because I suspect it's faster than their Arbiter. They end up banning my Nishak, which I think is okay. Yep, we get to go first. Weak hit, unfortunately, but we do get to lock everybody out. And because Armand's is in here, we get to just go ahead and do this. And I suspect that I have the damage that I need to wipe this team with Mezimel. So we're just going to go ahead and buff up, transform, and take this team out with Mezimel. Close. That was close. Closer than I would have liked, but we managed to pull that off. Yeah, I mean, I love this team. Obviously, Armand's was used there. I know I can't get away with this in gold. That's not what this is about, but I wanted to showcase Bolint. If you make sure that you guys are aware. If you see a team like that, ban Bolint. And I understand that that's hurting myself. It's hurting my fun, but Bolint is that good, and don't get fooled by him. So I hope this video helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love Bolint Freewalker. I think he's super slept on, and he is one that I think a lot of people need to be talking about and using when they can. Even if you took Skinwalkers off the table, you could just build one with more accuracy and a speed booster and be able to get the same effect that you might be getting with Armand's and his stun, but you get two opportunities at it, right? So I like him quite a bit. And, pair him with a Sun Wukong. You could just go with a traditional team of like an Arbiter, Wukong, Bolint, maybe even Nishak in there, or another lockout champion. There's a lot of options that you could do there. I think we've talked about it enough. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Take care.